Today we're going to talk about 5 ways of living off-grid when you're really living in an on-grid property. So today we're going to talk a little bit about ways that we can live a more, productive life off-grid. So number 1 is growing your own food. I actually live in a residential neighborhood. I have less than an acre of land, but I've tried to utilize a lot of it so that I can, kind of take advantage of some of the things that are out there, fresh food, fresh fruit and vegetables and things like that. Now that may sound easier than it is. It probably is, really. And if you don't have a big backyard or you don't have a lot of those things, it's going to be even harder. It's going to be more of a challenge. But there are still a lot of things that you can do. You can utilize pots to grow vegetables and small trees, little miniature trees. You can utilize a community garden if you have one in your area. Or even if you know somebody that has some extra land, if they could let you maybe rent it or borrow some of it to do some of those things. There are some other ways if you don't have the land available. So I know I've showed you my garden in the past. I just wanted to show you some of the things that I have in my backyard. Now, we're only a family of 2 now. My kids are grown up. They've moved away and gotten married and all that stuff. But I have 8 garden beds that I manage. I only have 2 of them that I really manage in the winter. So I'm just now getting ready for my winter garden. It's about mid-September and I basically use these 2 beds. I call this one in the front here my salad bowl, and I call the one in the back just whatever it is else that I'm growing. Swiss chard, garlic, what have you. So these are kind of the 2 areas that I utilize in the winter, and then in the summer I take advantage of all 6 of these other beds. So right now I just kind of let them go throughout the winter, get a little bit of rest, and I do put different kinds of fertilizers and things like that throughout the winter, but for the most part I really don't do a whole lot with those in the winter. Over on the side of my house, I've got all kinds of fresh herbs that are growing, and then all along the outside of my house, along the outside of my property anyway, I have all kinds of fruit trees. I've got pear, apples, plums, pomegranates, various peaches, nectarines, avocados, all kinds of stuff. And it's enough that it pretty much takes care of our fruit and vegetables throughout the whole year. So number 2 on my list is for living an off-grid life is to collect and filter your own water. Now I don't do this as much as I should, but there are a lot of different kinds of rainwater systems that you can use, be it things from your roof, things from your garden. There's just tons of things you can do to filter and reuse water. Number 3 on my list is generating your own electricity. So with solar and different types of things they have now, it's really a huge help. If we should have some kind of a situation, throughout the United States or the world or what have you, where electric is affected, a lot of people would not be able to manage their home or getting through this time. But you really should have different ways that you can cook, that you can take care of your household, be it candles, solar, flashlights, batteries, things like that. But you also should have things that you could do. You could take care of food and things like that in case of an emergency. So I have a couple of things in my backyard. So the first thing is that I built an outdoor pizza oven. Now this, I have a propane grill that's kind of attached to it, and then I've got it set up so that I can cook, and not just pizza. I mean, you could put anything in there and really use it as a oven to cook with. And secondly, I've also got a fire pit that I put in. Now this is a wood burning fire pit. I also could use the grill off of my outdoor propane grill, and I could cook off of that if I needed to in an emergency. Now, if you don't have room in your yard, if you live in an apartment or, you know, a smaller home, maybe you don't have room for these things outdoors, there's still things you can do. There are butane, there's, you know, all kinds of little indoor cooking grills, different types of things. And it's important, if you feel like you'd like to live off grid and you know, you might foresee things like that are needed in the future, that those are good things to look into. So number 4 is swap goods and services for things that you may want. I mean, back in the olden days, the Indians and pioneers, they did a lot of trading, horse trading as they called it, but they did a lot of trading. And these things really helped people to be able to get things that they needed without having to use actual money. So there are tons of things you can do. I mean, if you're a photographer, you could substitute photography services for being able to, you know, get fresh fruit and vegetables from someone. You know, if you do sewing or ironing or cooking or, oh my gosh, there's so many things, woodworking, automotive repair. There's so many things you can swap and take advantage of being able to, you know, trade back and forth with another person. Number 5 on my list today is finding alternative sources of income. So streams of income that you can get where you're not depending on a job or a company are going to be a big help to you. And with the internet today, everybody can do something. I mean, if it's tutoring or, you know, working online, doing YouTube or selling things on Etsy or eBay, maybe you do some type of graphic design, or, you know, you've got services that you can promote. I mean, that's a great way to take advantage of alternative income sources. Also, I mean, why things are good, I mean, it's also, if it's something you can do and maybe you don't have small kids or kids at home or a family you have to tend to at night, looking at getting a second job and bumping up your savings, that's another good idea. A lot of people are really handy when it comes to crafts and all kinds of things, and these are things you can sell at farmers markets, making soaps, and gosh, there's just so many things you can do now. And one of the ways to give you an idea is to look through, you know, online sources like Indeed and things like that. Not to necessarily get a job, but just to give you ideas of ways to make money. The other thing, of course, is to watch YouTube videos. There's all kinds of people out there who give ideas, great ideas about side hustles and way to make money. So I want to really encourage you. There are just so many things on TV right now, shows that are streaming about people who are giving up everything and living off grid in Alaska or the Smoky Mountains or what have you. And, you know, it's always been a dream of mine to live off grid, and it's not really something I've been able to do for the most part, but I try my best to take advantage of living that kind of life the best that I can. I take advantage of every single solitary piece of fruit and vegetables, saving money at the grocery store, frugal living. All these things provide me a lot of different options in my life. And I think it's possible. Like I said in the beginning of the video, I live in a residential neighborhood. I have neighbors on all sides of me, behind me, on both sides of me, across the street. I live on a little cul-de-sac, and you know what? I managed to prep for the winter every year. My summers, I work very, very hard to preserve, to save. I save my money. I do a lot of the things that I talk about, I do on a daily basis. So I know it can be done. So if you're interested in living an off-grid life in an on-grid situation that you're in, just know that there are avenues. And if this is content you'd like to talk more about, or you have ideas about, or things you'd like me to research and discuss with you more, I'm just kind of scratching the surface, but I'd be more than happy to, and I'd love to hear the types of things that you guys are doing. So thank you for watching today, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.